Have you ever felt like the internet is a minefield? One wrong step, one clumsy joke, one out of context content, and boom, you're at the center of a digital firestorm. Your words are screenshotted, your identity is debated, and suddenly it feels like the entire world is against you. It's exhausting, right? It feels like we're all walking on eggshells in this massive, chaotic public space. But what if I told you that we built this minefield ourselves? And that we built it based on a single, deeply flawed idea. For the past 30 years, we've been using the metaphor to understand the internet. We've called it cyberspace, a virtual world, an online community. We talk about it like it's a physical place. And that metaphor, as it turns out, is the source of so much of our online anxiety, outrage, and confusion. In this video, I'm going to explore the different, more powerful way to think about about the internet, not as a place, but as a medium. We and we'll see how that simple shift can help us disarm the minefield and reclaim the internet for what it's always meant to be, a space for thought, learning, and connection. So when the internet was new, it made sense to think of it as a place. We were going online, visiting websites, and building homepages. This language of geography gave us a map to the new strange territory we created. We created online communities and chat rooms, digital versions of towns and social clubs we knew in the real. This place metaphor shaped everything. Think about the terms we use today. Digital citizenship. That sounds good, right? But it frames the internet as a matter of following rules in specific jurisdictions, where you can be punished or even exiled. It's less about learning to think critically and more about behaving correctly. Online communities. This creates expectation of shared identity and social harmony, like a small town. But online, these communities are often fragile and can quickly become tribal, leaning to in-groups and out-groups, and safe spaces. This is probably the most controversial one. In the physical world, a safe space is about protecting your bodies from physical harm. But when we apply it to the internet, it becomes about protecting minds from uncomfortable ideas. And that's where the bubble really starts. Now, to be clear, my desire for safety, the desire for safety is real and valid. Research from the Trevor Project shows that LGBTQ youth having access to just one safe space online can reduce the risk of suicide attempts. This is incredibly important. These spaces can be a lifeline for people who are marginalized in their physical communities. But there's the paradox. When the goal of a safe space shifts from protecting people to policing ideas, it can lead to an environment where people are afraid to ask questions or express dissenting views. It can create something that researchers call benevolent self-censorship, where you stay quiet to avoid disrupting the harmony of the group. The pursuit of safety in this context can accidentally stifle the very dialogue that is meant to enable. So what happens when we treat a global communications network like a single giant room? The first thing is something we called context collapse. In our online lives, we are different people in different contexts. The way you talk to your best friend is different from how you talk to your boss, which is different from how you talk to your grandmother. But online, all those audiences are collapsed into one. Your boss, your grandmother, and your best friend are all in the same room. A joke meant for one is seen by all. A political take meant for a specific debate can be screenshotted and shown to potential employers years later. We're forced to perform a single, flattened version of ourselves, and it's exhausting. This is a breeding ground for what we call cancel culture. Now, the term is loaded, and people are deeply divided on it. A Pew Research study found that most Americans see calling people out on social media as a form of accountability. And in many cases, it's given a voice to people who have been silenced for a long time. But the place metaphor helps us understand the other side of the coin. If the internet is a public square, then an offensive statement isn't just an idea we can debate. It's seen as an act of public defilement. It's graffiti shared on a shared wall. And the response isn't to argue with the graffiti, But to find the person who did it, punish them, and often trying to get them fired or deplatformed. This leads to the most dangerous consequence of them all. The idea that speech is a form of violence. And let's be crystal clear. Online harassment is real. Cyberbullying has severe, documented psychological consequences, including depression, anxiety, and even suicidal ideation. I have experienced this myself. The pain is real. But when we equate that psychological pain with physical violence, we create a framework where aggressive and even violent responses can be justified as self-defense. It is a framework that not only chills speech, but also devalues the meaning of actual physical violence. You're basically saying that they are the exact same thing. Words are hurting you as the same as a physical object. The challenge is to take the real harms of online speech seriously without using a punitive framework that's built for physical worlds. For the physical world. Not a world of ideas. Again, this is children learning, right? You ask a question, are you going to beat the kid because he asks the question? So if the place metaphor is broken, what's the alternative? Well, it's to see the internet as what it actually is. A medium. Just like the printing press or the television, the TV isn't the place you go to. It's a technology that extends and reshapes our mind. The great media theorist, Marshall McLuhan, the great media theologist, Marshall McLuhan, said the medium is the message. He meant that the technology itself, not just the content it carries, shapes how we think and interact. He calls media an extension of man. The hammer is an extension of the arm. The book is an extension of memory. And the internet is an extension of our entire nervous system. This isn't just a metaphor. It's our cognitive reality. Philosophers like Andy Clark and David Chalmers have a theory that's called extended minds. They argue that we already use these tools to do our thinking. A notepad, They argue that we already use tools to do our thinking. A notepad, calculator, the contacts on the app on your phone. These are all part of your mind, just located outside of your skull. The internet is the most powerful version of this ever created. It is our collective external hard drive. When you see the internet this way, everything changes. An online argument is no longer a turf war in a shared room. It's a disagreement between two extended minds. A controversial idea isn't a threat to safety of space. It's simply a piece of data to be processed, analyzed, and either accepted or rejected. It shifts the focus from punishing people to exchanging with ideas. You know how converse is supposed to actually happen? I don't hate somebody because they disagree with me, but we need to have that argument to be able to come to an understanding. That is the internet. And yet, you're punishing people for asking questions and seeing things differently than you. Okay, so all of this is interesting philosophy, but how do we actually make our digital lives better? And it comes down to three key areas. For educators, we need to move beyond just teaching digital citizenship. We need to teach media on ecology. That means helping students understand how platforms are designed to make them feel and react. It means teaching them intellectual humility and the skills of separating a person from their argument. I know, crazy concept. Number 2, for the platforms, social media is designed for reaction, not reflection. But it doesn't have to be. Designers could add fictional elements. Imagine a time delay before you can reshare an outrageous post. Or a pop-up that asks, have you read this article that you're about to post this comments on? These small changes encourage a pause and a think, rather than just to react. And 3, and this is most important one, for you, for all of us, we can start by being more intentional. Before you post, ask yourself, who is my audience? Who could this be misinterpreted? How could this be misinterpreted? Can we also call a discursive mindset? What that means actually reading the articles, seeking out counter arguments, and being willing to change our minds. And finally, we can simply recognize that the medium's influence. We can simply recognize the medium's influence. When you feel a jolt of anger or validation from a post, take a second to remember this platform is designed to make you feel that way. That recognition is the first step to reclaiming your autonomy. Look, the internet doesn't have to be a minefield. It doesn't have to be a place of constant outrage and anxiety. By shifting our perspectives, by seeing how the internet is not a flawed, chaotic place, but a powerful, revolutionary medium that can change how we interact, and we can change how we interact with. We can move from a mindset of tribalism and fear to one of curiosity and exploration. It allows us to be more forgiving of others' mistakes and more critical of our own reactions. It allows us to see disagreement not as a threat, but as an opportunity to learn. It's a philosophy that reclaims the internet as a realm of thought, experimentation, and ultimately a deeper understanding of ourselves and our world. So what do you think? Have we been trapped on the wrong side of this metaphor? And what are your strategies for navigating the complex online life? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I just want to leave off on this. I wrote this based on an argument I had with my partner the other day, and it just really got me thinking. We need to stop locking down the internet. The internet is our collective mind. It is where we come together and are able to converse with consequences that are able to deal with. They don't affect your real lives. And the fact that we've gotten to this point is a reflection of how we let it get to this point. So, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next one until what we get into. Thank you for listening. Stay weird.